Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders in our state. I want to ask John Hood and Chris Fitzsimon, after a lot of discussion, the Charlotte City Council this week voted to extend an invitation to the National Republican Party, who then decided that they were going to hold their 2020 convention in the Queen City. Now, from your vantage point, what are the benefits and potential problems to having this presidential convention in Charlotte? Chris Fitzsimon, I'll start with you.
Well, traditionally I would have thought this was a good idea back not too many years ago. I thought it was a good idea to have the Democratic convention in 2012. I thought it would have been a good idea to have the Republican convention in 2012. But I got to tell you, given the current rancor and state, frankly, of the Republican Party and what's actually happening, I think if I was on the city council, I don't think I would have voted to do this. I think that the zoo it's going to bring to Charlotte is far beyond what we have seen, I think, in a long time. I think even some Republicans would agree with that. The cost to the city, the security costs, the image of the city, I think a lot is at stake. I think it was sort of a close call, but I certainly understand the people on the city council who didn't think this was a good idea, despite the fact, as I say, almost every other time I would have voted.
Would you have said it if it was the Democratic Party again?
No, because of the state of the Republican Party and the insanity that's happening at the front of the Republican Party. I would have supported the Republican convention being there in 2012. I might think it's a good idea in 2024.
My question is, though, would you have felt the same way, been opposed to it, if it had been the Democratic Party?
No, and my point is it's the state of the Republican Party, and the person who's in charge, it's not a Republican Party anymore, it's the Trump Party. And I think that's the fundamental issue that a lot of people are having on the Charlotte City Council. Again, if this was a different time, and maybe again, that'd be a good thing, but I don't think it's in Charlotte's best interest.
I think a lot of people still have images of Chicago in '88. John Hood, what's your reaction to the Republican convention in Charlotte?
I thought that the Charlotte mayor, Vi Lyles, really became a star. She was already popular in Charlotte as the elected mayor. She now got support across the aisle.
Strong Democrat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she said she's not going to vote for Trump. She's not going to speak at the convention. She doesn't support all that. But, they did host the Democratic convention. Why would they think it was appropriate to decide that one party's convention's okay for Charlotte and another party is not? The Republicans supported the Democratic convention in 2012. I think she made the right call, not just on the issue, but politically in the long run. And I'll also say very quickly, this is the 2020 Republican National Convention, of which many things happen in addition to the presidential nomination. I don't know if Donald Trump's going to be the nominee in 2020. So people are jumping to a lot of conclusions, I think, prematurely.
Does your reaction to this have anything to do with the fact that when Chicago hosted the 2012 Democratic Convention, there was a huge debt left over? They were unable to properly finance it.
The city council members that I talked to about this assured me that the agreement does protect Charlotte from downside risk. And remember, in 2012, when the Democrats supposedly weren't going to raise money from corporations and then raise money from corporations anyway because it was a dishonest plan on their part, they got a backstop from Duke Energy, which was a hometown utility, to pay any debts that hadn't been covered by financing, which is exactly what Duke Energy ended up doing. So there was a debt left over. I hope there isn't a debt left over this time, but if there's a debt left over, it sure not better be put on the taxpayers of Charlotte or Mecklenburg County, because they've been assured that's not going to happen.
Or perhaps the ratepayers.
Right.
Duke Energy.
Yeah, that's right. I just think that we're a little bit acting like politics is still normal, and maybe I'm naive about this, but I just don't think the Republican Party, the Trump Party, is what the Republican Party stands for, what it's always stood for. I don't have any problems disagreeing. I think the Republican Party normally should be allowed to do this, but these are not normal times.
Well, thank you for watching the After Spin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.